Welcome back. So we're a day away from this big Jackson Hole press conference slash announcement. So let's discuss what to anticipate and how it may affect things going forward. First things first. Okay, this morning when I checked the CME percentage for rate cut in September, still around 80%. So that's good. But now we're getting a couple of Fed governors slash presidents that are iffy now about the rate cut. I don't know why. So Kansas City's Fed, I think his name is Schmidt, says that he's not so sure that we should be cutting because of rising inflation. Like all of a sudden, a day before Jackson Hole. And then Cleveland's Fed governor, Hammack, she's like, no, we should not have any rate cuts at all. I'm like, what is going on here? Good thing tomorrow is not a FOMC meeting. It's not a get-together. It's just Powell discussing this whole thing. It's like a 3-day finance thing. And Powell is going to say some stuff. But usually what I'm hearing is he usually sets a tone for like what's to come. What the Fed overall is going to do going forward into, of course, next year when it's his final year, right? So I don't like how all these governors are coming out and all of a sudden saying, no, we should not get a unanimous rate cut in September. It totally goes against what they were saying. They all said, Powell even said, there's going to be 2 cuts this year. We haven't had any, or 2 more cuts this year, and then we haven't had one for a long time. So there should be one in September, and there should be one in either October or December, right? So now a lot of people are thinking that maybe Powell's going to be hawkish. It could be just despite the current administration, or he's truly worried about inflation. But, you know, jobs aren't doing so good. Today, jobless claims came out this morning. I missed it, but jobless claim came up a little bit higher than expectation. And overall number of people holding jobs has been recalculated. And the number of jobs added was horrible. So number of people out of jobs is higher. And number of people that are getting jobs is a lot lower in the last 3 months because it's been adjusted. So these are the ammunition we need for a rate cut because the economy just isn't doing well. And prices are going up, right? So inflation is definitely happening. So the Fed has to choose, basically, okay, whether to save jobs or to save inflation. I mean, they're not going to be able to save inflation at this point. They can think about hiking the rates. That would be absolutely horrible. They're not going to be doing that. But, you know, the next thing that they can think about is just keeping rates the way it is. But, hey, if they do that, jobs, economy is going to suffer. And obviously the current administration and Trump does not like it because they want the rates to come down because it's costing America hundreds of billions of dollars in interest because the country needs to borrow more money, needs to issue more bonds, and so forth. So yeah, so we have to wait until tomorrow. Tomorrow, I believe it's right in the morning, like I think it was like 8 a.m. or something when this Jackson Hole thing is happening. I might be wrong. Maybe it's 8 a.m. Mountain Time because it's in Wyoming. But it's in the morning. We don't have to wait until the afternoon or anything. So we should get that. And obviously, right now, I mean, this whole week, the S&P 500 had 5 days of loss. Bitcoin and crypto has fallen, obviously. I saw that close to $2 billion have outflowed from the ETFs just this week. This last 4 days between Bitcoin and Ethereum, almost $2 billion. And obviously, the market makers have been doing their thing to wipe out the leverage and the liquidity, and this is where we are. But it seems like we have found a footing. We're around 112, 113 right now. A lot of the alts are still holding. Bitcoin dominance is still holding. Bitcoin dominance isn't skyrocketing. So right now, it just seems like there's a lot of fear. A lot of people are pre-selling in case tomorrow is hawkish. So what is going to happen if tomorrow is hawkish? If Powell is hawkish, it's not going to be good for markets. No, it's not good. And it really depends on what he says. If he like leans really far towards like, hey, we're not even sure we should even think about a rate cut in September because of rising inflation, and my previous estimate of having 2 rate cuts at the end of this year, we may just adjust that to 1. If he says something like that, man, tomorrow will be the biggest crash on earth. And I don't say that lightly. I sat through a lot of crashes. I don't want to see that happen. But if he, you know, somewhere in the middle, not going to the extreme, if he's like, you know, we're still cautious about inflation. However, we recognize that jobs is starting to go down, and you know, so we are considering all the possibilities, and yeah, there may be a rate cut in September. That's what we need to hear, right? But you know, if he goes just a little bit more hawkish than dovish, it's not going to be good. And I don't know what kind of policies, new policies he plans on setting, because he's supposed to be setting like a guidance of what the Fed is going to be doing for the next year or so, right? He may talk about how many rate cuts there will be in 2026, or he may talk about how there may not be any rate cuts because of, again, uncertainty due to inflation from the tariffs. I don't know what he's going to say, right? I'm preparing. I'm preparing. I got a boatload of cash on the side, although I have a boatload of crypto, just holding, waiting to see what happens. It could go either way tomorrow, guys. It could go either way. The encouraging thing is, you know, yesterday and today, we've come up a little bit, just slightly. It seems like we have found a bottom. All the panic sellers that are really feeling the FUD, they have already sold. The long-term holders, obviously, we're here. We're not doing anything. Maybe some of us sold a little bit to make a bit more, to have a little bit more cash on hand. But outside of that, long-term hold is not going anywhere. And we still have a ton of buying. Besides ETF outflows, but, you know, I still cover about companies buying every single day, basically. So nothing really changed on that side. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I mean, the only thing to talk about is Jackson Hole, and we're going to see tomorrow. Let's see if Powell, let's see, you know, if any of the pressure have gotten to him, right? He got to realize, yeah, his tenure is almost over. Less than a year. They're finding a replacement. And there are some governors like Bullard, who's very pro rate cuts. Thinks that we should have a 100 basis point cut leading into next year, right? So even though I mentioned Schmidt and I think what was the other person, Waller? No, not Waller. Oh, I forgot the person from Cleveland already. But even though there are some that are against rate cuts, there are some that are very for rate cuts too. And I'm sure they're all talking. They're all talking. All right. That's it, guys. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Prepare for tomorrow. Hang in there. Even if tomorrow's horrible, keep in mind, we will recover. All right? But tomorrow could be a huge bounce day too. We'll see. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.